Trust. That's what I always thought relationships were built on. For the longest time, I truly believed that. I believed we had that foundation, solid, unshakable. We talked about everything, or at least I thought we did. But then came that one quiet afternoon, and everything I believed just fell apart, fast and without warning. It happened on Sunday, our usual day. We usually spend it side by side, sitting over a late breakfast, or just watching something pointless while lying on the couch. But that morning, she mentioned that she had coffee with a friend. There was nothing unusual about it. She had her own social circle, her own daily routine, and I was never possessive. Just with a friend, she said casually, heading for the exit. At first, I didn't give it a second thought. Why would I? But as the day wore on, a strange feeling started creeping in. Something just didn't add up. Amy wasn't the kind to disappear like that. She usually answered her texts within minutes, not hours. Still, I gave her space. One quick call, just to ease my nerves, straight to voicemail. Odd. I told myself to chill, that I was overthinking it, but something in the pit of my stomach kept twisting. By late afternoon, maybe around 4, I couldn't shake the restlessness. So, I threw on a jacket and stepped out for a walk, hoping some air might help me reset. There's this little cafe, not far from home, one of our favorites. We'd spent countless slow afternoons there, sipping lattes and watching people pass by. And that's where I saw her, tucked into a booth by the window. She was laughing, full, easy laughter, at something the guy across from her had just said. They looked close, too close. Her hand was resting on the table like it belonged there. And his? It hovered dangerously close to hers, their fingers nearly touching. Comfortable, familiar, like they'd done this before. For a second, I just stood there, frozen. I didn't want to leap to conclusions, didn't want to assume the worst. Maybe he was just a friend. Maybe I'd caught an innocent moment that only looked wrong. But then I saw how she leaned in toward him, how her eyes lit up, that glimmer I hadn't seen in months. And her smile? Yeah, that wasn't the kind you flashed at someone you barely knew. My heart felt like it skipped a beat, then took off sprinting. I walked in, each step heavier than the last. She didn't notice me right away, too wrapped up in whatever charming story he was spinning. But as I reached the edge of their table, her laughter cut off mid-breath. Her eyes met mine, wide with shock, then narrowed. Not in guilt, but in irritation, like I was the one who'd done something wrong. "Hey," I said, keeping my voice calm, though everything inside me was anything but. "Mind telling me what's going on here?" The guy glanced between us, clearly wanting to vanish into thin air. His posture stiffened, like he'd just realized he'd walked into a scene he didn't want any part of. Meanwhile, she didn't even flinch. Her response came fast, sharp. "What are you doing here?" I blinked. "Seriously? That's your question?" I motioned to the table, to him. "You told me you were meeting Amy." She gave this little shrug, like I'd just asked about the weather. "Plans changed." "Right. And you didn't think maybe, just maybe, you should tell me that?" Her eyes flicked over to the guy, then back to me with this annoyed sort of calm. "I didn't think I needed to," she said flatly. "It's just coffee." I looked at him again. He still wouldn't meet my eyes. "Who is he?" I asked, more sharply this time. Before she could get a word out, he mumbled, "I should probably go," and started fumbling with his jacket and phone, clearly desperate to get out of the crossfire. "No, don't," I said, my patience already hanging by a thread. "Stick around. I'd really like to know who you are." "He's a friend," she cut in, fast, like she was trying to shut it down before it got messier. Her voice had that edge, the defensive kind, the one that says you've already lost the argument, but you're still swinging. A friend, huh? I said, staring at her now. Because it sure as hell doesn't look like that from here. And that's when she smiled. But not the way I expected. Not nervously. Not with regret. It was smug, like she was above it all. Like I was the fool for even asking. "You're being dramatic," she said, leaning back in her chair, like this was nothing more than an inconvenience. Dramatic? That single word hit like a slap. Dramatic? I echoed, louder now. You lie about who you're with, sneak off to meet some guy, and I'm the one making a scene? She rolled her eyes, like I was just exhausting her. Like she'd already decided this conversation wasn't worth her energy. It's just coffee, okay? You're blowing this way out of proportion. But no, it wasn't just coffee. It was the hiding. The way she shut me out. The way she looked at him, like I wasn't even in the picture. "Is this the first time?" I asked. And this time my voice came out low, almost a whisper. That smug little smirk she'd been wearing slipped. Just for a second. Barely noticeable, but enough. That flicker of hesitation was all the answer I needed. "That's none of your business," she said at last, her voice like ice. Cold, detached, final. And that was it. Something inside me snapped. My chest ached like it had been cracked open. But I wasn't about to stand there and let her tear apart what little dignity I had left. "You're right," I said, stepping back slowly. "It's not my business anymore." Her eyes flicked up, just a hint of panic in them now. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I'm done." I turned around. Just like that. No big speech, no final plea. Just the sound of my shoes on the tile floor as I walked toward the door, and the echo of something breaking behind me. "You're seriously leaving over this?" she called out, disbelief dripping from her voice. I paused at the door. For a second, I considered not looking back, just walking out and never turning around. But something made me glance over my shoulder. Just once. One last look. "No," I said, steady now. "I'm leaving because you don't respect me. And I'm not staying with someone who treats honesty and loyalty like they're optional." She didn't get up, didn't call after me, didn't even try to stop me. Just sat there, calm, smug, like she'd already rewritten the story in her head. That look on her face, it burned. The days that came after were brutal. Honestly, some of the toughest I've ever faced. I kept replaying it all, over and over. That booth, that moment, the way her smile never cracked. Part of me wondered if I'd made a mistake, if maybe I should have stayed, fought for something, tried to fix what was broken. But deep down, I knew she'd made her choice long before I ever walked into that coffee shop. I just hadn't seen it yet. Walking away wasn't easy. It tore at every part of me. But it was the right thing, the only thing left to do. I deserve more than empty words and half-truths. I deserve someone who sees me, who values me, who doesn't shrug off my pain or look me in the eye and lie. And now, for the first time in a long while, I feel like I'm finally heading somewhere real, toward peace, toward clarity, maybe even toward someone who knows what it means to stay.